Hey everyone, this is going to be the short series of videos for the Unreal Engine tutorials. So just quickly, this is the page that comes up when you load up the Epic launcher. It'll come up with all the engine versions you have installed. We're going to want to click on this big orange button here. It should say 4.18.2. If not, it might say 4.16. That's fine. There's going to be no difference between what I'm doing here and what you'd do in anything as early as 4.7. So I'm just going to click on the button, and then it'll take a while for me to load up, so I'm going to cut the video, but I'll get back when it's loaded up with the engine itself, so just click on this one. Okay, so after it's loaded up, you'll see a screen that'll say projects and new project. These are all my projects, so for you guys it'll probably say no projects found. That's fine. We're going to click on new project, and I'm going to be working with the third person blueprint start, because it's easy to show you guys with the camera how certain things work. I know that a lot of you have been talking about doing a 2D game. You can do either of these if you want to, but everything I'm going to show you will work in both the side scrollers anyway. We're going to make sure it's for desktop/console, maximum quality, because why not? And we're going to start with starter content because it comes with a few meshes and particle effects that are really nice, just as placeholders. I'm going to call it tutorial. No spaces. Number 4. If you're in number 4, the first two kind of sucked. I got the third one absolutely spot on, but it didn't record any audio. So here we are at number 4. Click Create Project. It'll take a while to load up, but after that's done, I'll carry on from there. Okay, so when it loads up, you'll see something like this. We've got here our first-person character, as well as a little level that Unreal have left us. So just to show you what this comes with, if I click play, you can move the camera with the mouse. It also comes with gamepad support, walk around and jump with the spacebar, using WASD to move. I don't know if they've got... No, the arrow keys move the camera. No, what? Oh my god, the arrow keys are tank controls. That's fucking weird. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a door. We're going to be giving a door conditions as well, and then later down the line we're going to give... inputs. We're going to add an input onto our character. So click on this guy to bring up all of our folders. Just going to make it a bit smaller as well. Click on content and right click to create a new folder. I'm going to call this blueprints. So double click, right click, and I'm going to create a new blueprint. Now a blueprint is a self-contained set of code. I'll show you what I mean in a second. We're going to create an actor. This is going to be our door. We're going to call it BP_door. Press enter to load it up. Drag this tab up here. And this is what our door looks like at the minute. This doesn't represent anything. There's nothing to our actual door. It doesn't have any meshes to it, any particles, any art at all. It's just nothing at the minute. If we click on event graph, this is where we put in all of our code or blueprints. You can see event begin play, event act begin overlap, and event tick. These are all events that the engine comes with. We're not going to use any of these for now. We're going to use this one in a little bit, but we don't need it for now, so I'm going to get rid of them. Go to viewport. I'm going to add a component to our door. I'm going to call it, well, we're going to look for a static mesh. Click on that one. Call it door. Okay, so the reason I added starter content is because it comes with a bunch of default static meshes, one of them being a door. So I go on to static mesh, search for door, and then we've got a door. If I press F, it centers us, so it focuses on the door, and that's what we've got. I'm now going to add collision to it, because your meshes by default should have collision. This one doesn't. I'll quickly show you actually. I'll drag this door into the world, press play, and I can just go straight through it. There's nothing stopping me. So I close that, go back to door, add component. I'm going to add a cube. Now, automatically, it's made the cube a child of the door, which means wherever the door rotates or moves to, so will the cube. I'll show you rotation. To change the tools, you can let's change tools. What I'm using here is like these arrows will move things about. If I click on this, it does all three. Click it again. This will rotate along whatever axis you pick, and this will scale. To change them, you can press space to cycle through, or use W, E, and R to manually select them. Anyway, I'm going to use this cube. I'm going to drag it to about center. Then I'm going to try and resize it for the door. You can see that it's snapping as well. That's because of this option here. It's got a soft snap. You can change how sensitive the snap is, or you can just turn it off altogether by clicking the orange, so that we can get a lot more precise with our scale. Yeah, that'll do. Compile it and save. That's the habit you'll want to get in. Compiling it will make sure that everything inside of the blueprint is working fine. Save it to make sure you don't lose any progress along the way. And now we're going to add a new component, and it's going to be our collision. So this door is going to be an automatic door to start with. We just need to make sure that we can tell when the player is within our range to open. So I'm going to turn this back on for now. Resize this. Okay, so that fits the door. I'm going to make it a bit longer. Compile it. Save it. So now that our door... Oh, actually our door isn't ready yet, because we've got this block still covering our mesh. If we go further down here, we can make that mesh invisible. You see here, collision presets, it's got block hole dynamic. Now we made it invisible, so we have collision to the door now. So if I go into the edit, you can see our boxes around it. There's no cube there, but it's got collision. We can't go through it anymore. So now I have to go to the coding part to make sure that the door will actually open. So we need to create a new event. So the box, right click, add event, add on component begin overlap. We now need to see what the other actor we're going to be overlapping is. Well, we know that it's going to be the player, and the player in this default is called third person character. Yeah, third person character there. So other actor, drag out third person character. Now what we've done here is we're casting to it. We're casting out a line and seeing if what we pull back is the third person character. So when the box begins overlap, is it the third person character? If it is, we can create a new event coming out of here. If it's not, then we can create a different event. We don't need to create a different event, but if you wanted to, you could use the cast failed. We want the door to very smoothly rotate open, because to just have it snap would look ugly and gross. So we're going to drag out from here and create a timeline. Add timeline. Open door. Oh, got a capital P. Now timeline just it's constantly thinking along a certain amount of seconds. It won't play until we tell it to, and this update is basically every time it's moved along the timeline what's happening. So that's how we're going to get our smooth rotation in. So update, I'm going to be updating the door. Drag out from here, set rotation. Drag out from here. Now to get a smooth rotation, we have to get both where we're starting and where we're ending. So we're going to drag out from here and create a lerp rotator. Now, lerp is an acronym. I can't remember what for, but anyway, we're going to make sure that we go down our shortest path. A is going to be our starting rotation. B is going to be our ending rotation. We're going to want to open up 90 degrees. Enter. But now we're going to have to tell whereabouts in between these two we are. That's what the alpha is. The alpha is a value between 0 and 1. At 0 it's A, at 1 it's B. So if I double click on the timeline, create a float track, I call this rotation lerp alpha, actually. I'm going to make it 1 second. We only want it to be like 1 second and the door's fully rotated. I'm going to hold down left shift and left click. we've now got a key along the timeline. Tell it to be time 0, value 0. I'm going to left shift and click again. At 1 second, we want the value to be 1. I'm going to use these two to spread the whole timeline across the screen. So we can see, like, when the timeline begins playing, we're at 0. After 1 second, we're on 1. And you can see that's how we're going to get our smooth rotation. That line is going to be going from A to B. And then we can add a new event, box, on end overlap. We already know that we've played, so we can just drag that into reverse, and the door will close when we're not overlapping anymore. So drag that into that, compile, save, play, go to the door, and it opens. 90 degrees, I leave the box, it closes. And the collision goes with it as well. So, now I'm going to create, I'm going to try and make it as universal as possible, because if I rotate this door by 40 degrees, let's say, and I overlap it again, you see that it just snapped its rotation, and when I leave again, it's gone back to the start. That's because of the lerp. It will only go by the world 000, not by whatever rotation we start with. So to try and make sure that this blueprint remembers what rotation we started with, I'm going to right click and create an event when the game starts up, which is begin play, the one that I deleted earlier. I'm going to hold down control and drag that out, which is how you get that, by the way. I don't think I explained that. Drag out from here, and we're going to get its rotation. And then we're going to promote it to a variable, which means that the engine is, the blueprint's going to remember what the rotation was when we started. So if I call this start rotation, hook that up, I can drag it into here, but it's still no good because we'll only be going to 90 degrees. We need to make sure that we remember the end location as well. So we go to combine, rotators, 90 degrees there, promote that to a variable, call it end rotation. I'm sorry for going a bit fast, but we've got to make sure that these videos are as short as possible with as much as possible in them, to make sure you get the most out of them. Going to hold down control, drag that out, drag that into the end, into B. So the alpha's going from A to B, we're going from start rotation to end rotation, compile it, save it, so that now when I play, you see that the door goes off of its own rotation, not the world rotation. And two doors can have different rotations as well. Like, that doesn't now mean that every door you have has to be on that rotation. If I hold down Alt and rotate it, it duplicates it. Just move that one over there. You'll see this one will open up on its own rotation, and so will this one. Okay, so next up we're going to be making conditions. We're going to be making a key for it. I'm going to be doing like a master key, and then we're going to be doing Zelda style small keys. So I'll see you there.